Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Guru Medeva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। Namaste once again. So we are seeing the Brahma Swarupa. In the last few slokas we have been seeing this. Okay. And in the last sloka which we saw in the last class, the 59th sloka, the Acharya tried to explain what do we mean by Brahman is all pervading. All pervading or all pervasive. And he gave a nice example. The example of butter mixed in the milk. Chire, what was that? Chire sarpi, chire sarpi, chire sarpihi iva akhide. Like all the entire, you cannot say which part of the milk has got butter. There, you may not be able to see the milk, see the butter in the milk. All that you are seeing is only milk, but the content of that milk is that butter. This is an example he gave. Similarly, he said what? That Brahman is there in the entire universe. Akhilam Vastu Brahma Yukta. That's what he said. So this we have seen. Now let's see the next sloka. Verse 60. Ananvastulamahristvam adhirgamajamavyayam arupa gunavarnakyam trattat brahmetyavadharayet. So continuing this Brahma Swarupa explanation, that Brahman into which the Jiva will merge or Jivan Mukta will merge is again being talked about. Simple meaning of this sloka. The emphasis here in this sloka is to highlight the fact that Brahman is free from all kinds of attributes. Ananuhu, astulam, ahraswam, adhirgam, ajam, avyayam. These are the 6 attributes which Shankara talks about. So Brahman is devoid of these attributes. Anuhu means small. Ananuhu means not small. Means what? Big. The question will be how big? Immediately he says astulam. It is not small, it is not big also. Right? So we have to be very careful in understanding. Very difficult to describe Brahman. That's what the purpose of using these opposites is. You cannot say it is small, you cannot say it is big. And then what is next he says, or other way you can say it is both small and big. When you say Ananuhu, it is not small, you can say it is big. Then Astula means it is not big, it is small. So it is both small and big. Means what it is? Everything is Brahman. Everything small, everything big is Brahman. Then immediately he says what? Ahraswam. Ahraswam means it is not short. Then one will think it is long. Immediately he says Adhirgam. It is not long. So it is neither short nor long, or you can say it is both short and long. Both ways we can take. The whole idea of this using these opposites is our intellect should stop searching for an object called Brahman. Whenever our intellect gets active in searching an object, we will go by certain attributes of that object. Isn't it? Suppose something is lost, a ring is lost somewhere in the house. Everybody is searching. And it had got a, so let us say, a diamond on that. It used to shine. So what will you tell other people? Look for something, that ring everywhere. It has a diamond which is shining. So if you see a shine anywhere, it must be that ring. So whenever our intellect searches for something, it will search with certain attribute in mind. But even if somebody asks you to search something, what is the question we'll ask? How does it look like? Isn't it? So this is the problem, and what here Acharya wants to say is stop this search for Brahman. Brahman is not an object. Like every object will have some attribute, either it will be small or it will be big, or it will be short or it will be long. Like that, all these attributes either or will be there, and or and will not be there. These are Brahman is and both this and that. So stop your search. Okay. And then he says Ajam. Ajam means was unborn. Then Avyayam, inexhaustible. Jara Rahitam, it can't get old. Brahman cannot get old. Nasha Rahitam, etc. Which is all applicable to Shadvikaram, applicable to all the human body. Brahman is not a body mind complex. So it is just all these attributes that do not apply to Brahman also. So Ajam Avyayam means what? Sarva Vikara Nishedah. Then Arupam. Arupam, free from all sorts of forms, doesn't have a form. And a better meaning, we can take colorless also, because Rupam has got both the meanings, form and color in Sanskrit. So Arupam, colorless. Agunam, Nirgunam, doesn't have any attributes, free from all attributes, both good attributes as well as bad attributes. Even if we say Brahman has got good attributes, it will still make Brahman a relative. Because you are limiting the Brahman. So either he says Brahman has got both good attributes and bad attributes, or it doesn't have any attributes at all. Both ways you can say. And we have seen Anyatra Dharmat, Anyatra Adharmat in Kathopanishad. You all remember, those who have learned Kathopanishad, right? So it is beyond Dharma and beyond Adharma also. Means what? When you say Brahman is, there pervading everything in this cosmos, means what? It is everything, good, bad, everything, dharma, adharma, everything is Brahman only. That is the adhishtanam of everything, that all attributes that we see in this entire cosmic prapancha, right? So this is what, so guna also he has talked about, right? Then avarna. Varna we can take as jati or varna classification, We can take this Chaturvarnyam itself rather. And here, Varna, we don't need to take the meaning of color, because color in Rupam we have already taken. So Varna here we can say Chaturvarnya. So he does not have any Varna, which Brahman is not Brahmin or Kshatriya or Shudra or Vaishya. Right? So this is another thing which is we all attribute ourselves. Brahman is not any of these Varnas also. Avarnam. Then Anakhyam, he says. Anakhyam means what? Akhya means name. So Anakhyam means it does not have any name. Right? Nama Rahitam. In fact, in Mandukya, I think it says, Amatra Chaturtaha Avyavaharyaha Prapanchopashamaha Shantaha Shivaha Advaitaha Amatra. Amatra means, actually Amatra means what? Silence. It does not have any sound, no letter. Maunavya Prakatita Brahma Tattvam. Dakshinamurti Sloka. You can't explain Brahman with any kind of language, any kind of vocabulary. So that is what is Anakhyam. But then the question is, but we are calling it Brahman. Just now you say you can't call Brahman by any name, but you yourself are calling it as Brahman. We are calling it as Brahman because of helplessness. Otherwise, nobody will understand. If you say all these things attributeless, how will you understand? Even the word Brahman is a adhyasa. It is a superimposition on something which is pure existence, pure consciousness, and superlative joy or pure ananda. We are actually superimposing a name for that as Brahman. So everything that we do as a vyavahara is all superimpositions. Adhyasam. So the name Brahman itself is mithya. Brahman is not mithya. Brahman is satyam. But the name we give to that satyam as Brahman is mithya. The name is mithya. Then is it Adhishtanam? The name Adhishtanam also is mithya. Calling it Adhishtanam for Brahman, that name we give also is mithya. Because other than that Swarupa, to understand, to explain which we use all these names are mithya, and that Swarupa only is Satyam. Even the word Swarupa is mithya. How will you understand it? That is the struggle of the Upanishads. It is there, but you can't explain it. Because it is everything. So that is how we have to understand this, right? And in that Brahman within inverted commas, a Jivan Mukta merges into Avadharane, right? I'll go to the next sloka. Yad bhasa bhasyaterkadhi bhasyaryattu na bhasyate yena sarvamidham bhati tad brahmetyavadharayet. Continuing the same topic. So all Brahma Swarupam, Brahma Lakshanam is continuing to talk from various standpoints. And here he is defining Brahman as Swayam Prakasha Rupa. Now what is the definition of Swayam Prakasha? We have seen earlier also. It is that because of which everything else shines, and that which does not shine because of anything else. It has its own shining, so rupa. It is of the nature of shining itself. That is Swayam Prakash. Right? Because of Brahman, the entire world shines. The entire world is enlivened. We know about the entire world. We become aware of this entire world. But to become aware of Brahman, we don't need anything else. Because Brahman is what? Awareness itself. It is the consciousness, pure consciousness is Brahman. What can enlighten? Pure consciousness enlightens everything. Nothing is required to enlighten the pure consciousness. And that is what is Swayam Prakasha Rupa. Okay. We have seen this in Kathopanishad. Na tatta suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agni tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidham vibhati. We have seen Kathopanishad mantra. That comes in Mundakopanishad also. So everything shines because of Brahman. Brahman does not, nothing, none of these Chandra, Tarakam, all the luminous bodies in this world, in this cosmos, they all shine because of Brahman, but they cannot make Brahman shine. Brahman does not, actually Brahman is the one who lends light to them. So there is no question of they actually, lending light to Brahman. This is what is that mantra said, right? So he says, Yad Bhasa means Yad Brahma Bhasa, because of whose light. Arkadi means what? All luminous bodies, Surya, Chandra, Nakshatrani, you can take all of them, right? Vidyuta, this lightning, Agni, right? Adi Padat, you can act. Arka means Surya. Arkadi means all luminous bodies which give out light. So Arkadi, we can take that meaning. And here we have to be a little careful. When it said that everything else shines because of the light of Brahman, we must not visualize that Brahman has got some special light. If we visualize that, again we have not understood what Brahman is. So here, whenever we are referring to light and all that, with respect to Brahman, we must understand we are talking about pure consciousness, awareness, because of which we become aware of everything. That is what is meant by bhasyate. It is purely because awareness is knowledge. When one gets knowledge, what is the English equivalent we use? Enlightenment we use, the word light, right? So in all languages, acquiring knowledge is compared to light. But it is not, enlightenment does not mean that an enlightened person will give out some sort of a special kind of a light rays so that he goes and makes the whole place. And that is the problem. I mean, this artist and all paint some that one light behind the person, Buddha and all that will have that, Sai Baba and all. And we think that all these Mahatmas, when they are sitting there, there is some special light which is coming from their head, which enlightens the whole. All rubbish samsari material. Vedanta doesn't say any of these things. Here, light means awareness, knowledge, and pure consciousness is knowledge. Satyam jnanam anantam jnanam. That is what it is, right? So then he goes on to say, bhasyaihi yat tu na bhasyate. So by these illumined objects, which is bhasyam, the illuminator, Atma, is not illumined, he is not lightened up. beauty of Sanskrit, and which Adi Shankara uses very beautifully. Bhasyehi na bhasyate. Why? Bhasyatvat, abhasakatvat. Because all these, by these illumined objects, Atma is never illumined. That means what? They are ever the object. Atma is ever the subject, the one which illumines. Object cannot illumine the subject. It's a subject which illumines the object. They never become the subject. Atma never becomes the object. Right? And says, Yena sarvam idam bhati. Yena means Brahma prakashena. Because of this Brahma prakasha, Brahma chaitanyena. Idam sarvam bhati. All these are illumined. Everything in this cosmos is illumined. So the idea is basically this. Chaitanyam illumines all the sense organs. So from an Atma perspective I am coming. Chaitanyam illumines the sense organs. The sense organ go out and observe this entire world. And when they observe, the Chaitanyam which is going out along with the sense organs, they pervade all the objects. And that is how the awareness is created. And that's why it's said this Chaitanyam is illumining the world. How Chaitanyam illumines the world? Through the sense organs, which is first illumined by the Chaitanya. So we can say this Chaitanyam, from a Atma point of view, this Chaitanyam first illumines the sense organs directly and then illumines this entire world indirectly, because this entire world is what? Objects. And objects are jadam. They don't have their own light. So when the sense objects carry the light of this Chaitanya, the awareness of this Chaitanyam along with them, and fall on the sense, on the objects of this world, we get the knowledge or awareness of those objects. That is what is called here, pervading this entire world. So from a Brahman point of view, we can say Anoraniyan, Mahato Mahiyan and all that. From an Atma point of view, we can say this is how the process takes place of enlightenment or awareness. Okay. And that's why, here he is indicating that this world is illumined by this Chaitanyam alone, and that Chaitanyam illumines the world through the sense organs, and therefore in the final analysis, the ultimate illuminator of this world is this Chaitanyam only. As I said, the only difference is Chaitanyam illumines the sense objects directly, but it illumines the world indirectly through the sense organs when we become aware of this entire world. That is why this word Arkadi Bhasyate and Idam Sarvam, Yena Sarvam Idam Bhati, both are giving the same meaning. Right? He uses these two phrases in order to indicate that one phrase refers to the direct illumination of the sense organs, and the another one through the sense organs indirectly illuminating the entire world. So that's why he uses both these. Otherwise, if you take the meaning of this, Arkadi Bhasyate and Yena Sarva Idam Bhati, the both meaning the same only. So this is how we have to understand this sloka. So, in short, everything in this prapancha is illumined by Chaitanyam alone. And this is what, this Swaprakasha Chaitanyam is what we give the name Brahman, and which a Jivan Mukta merges into. That is the sloka. Okay. So we'll go to verse 62. स्वयमन्तर्बहिर्व्याप्य भासयन्नखिलं जगत् ब्रह्म प्रकाशते वह्नि प्रतप्ताय प्रतप्ताय सपिण्डवत्. So again, another different way of saying the same thing. That this Chaitanyam alone illumines everything, either directly or indirectly. The question is, how do you know that this Chaitanyam is pervading? For that, the answer is, whenever we say we know something, it indicates the pervasion of the Chaitanya. Right in the beginning, we have seen this thought, Atma Bodha, right? How the whole process of knowledge takes place. To vritti being formed in the antakaranam, Chaitanyam pervading it. All that we saw. How the vritti jnanam takes place. Right? So, when we say something is known, it indicates the pervasion of Chaitanya. Like what? Whenever we say the wall is seen, see, we are seeing a wall, the wall is seen, it means what? It is pervaded by light. Then only you can see it. If there is total darkness, you can't see the wall. So whenever we say I am seeing a wall, you are actually seeing two things. One, the wall object, and also the light which is pervading that wall. Then only you can see the wall. So, but then do we say we are seeing the wall pervaded by the light? We never say that. When we say I am seeing a wall, I have got the knowledge of the wall, automatically it means that you are seeing the wall because of the light which is pervading that wall. This is the example, right? We never ever directly refer to the light. But we imply, by implication, there is a message that the light is pervading the wall. That is because of which we are able to see the wall. Similarly, whenever we say we know anything in this world, it indicates the pervasion of consciousness, even though we may not say. So when a mind goes to an object, through the mind, the Chaitanyam pervades the world. Now where is the Chaitanyam? Hridayakasha. Right? From our point of view. Because the world is relevant only from what? From the Jiva point of view. If we don't exist, the world doesn't exist for us. If we do not have the faculty of sight, to that extent, the form and the color of the world doesn't exist for us. If we do not have the faculty of hearing, to that extent, all the beautiful sounds in this world doesn't exist for us. Chirping of the birds, the thunder of the sound of the thunder. Nothing exists for us if we are totally devoid of the faculty of hearing. So everything is relevant. We are aware of everything only because of these five sense organs. And that is why we have to understand this is the sense organs from our standpoint which go out and bring this awareness into us. And those sense organs are pervaded by this Atma Chaitanyam. And that Chaitanyam goes and pervades the object because of this awareness is created in us. This is how the knowledge is acquired. Right? So thus everything is pervaded by the Sakshi Chaitanyam or Pramatri Chaitanyam, to use a technical word. Sakshi Chaitanyam directly Pramatri Chaitanyam indirect. Because Pramatri means what? The knower. So Pramatri Chaitanyam indirect. So Swayam Anta Bahihi Cha Vyapnoti. Anta refers to the mind and vrittis of the mind. And the Chaitanyam illumines the mind and the vrittis directly. And this Chaitanyam is called Sakshi Chaitanya. I won't go into that. We have already seen how the Chaitanyam pervades the mind, the vrittis, and then how knowledge is acquired. Right? Even when the mind is resolved in Sushupti Avastha also, this Sakshi Chaitanyam continues to exist. Mind is resolved, but it still continues. The Sakshi Chaitanyam continues to be there. To know when the mind is resolved, you are in deep sleep. To know that you are in deep sleep when you wake up, the Sakshi Chaitanyam was required. Otherwise, you will not know you are in deep sleep. So, Sakshi Chaitanya Rupena Brahma Atma Antakaranam Vyapnoti. And this Chaitanyam is capable of going out through the sense organs and capable of illumining this whole world. So this is the, and when that happens, this Chaitanyam gets the name Pramatri Chaitanya. So Sakshi Chaitanyam, it gets a name when it is illumining the Antakarana, and through the sense organ, when it goes out in the world and illumines the entire world, it is called Pramatri Chaitanya. That's the only difference, right? So one is direct pervasion, another is indirect. And that is why in all the three avasthas, this Sakshi Chaitanyam pervades. So that is why he says, Antar Bahir Vyapya, both pervading within and without, Akhilam Jagat Bhasayam. It illumines the whole world. The internal subjective world as well as the external objective world, it illumines this Chaitanya. Brahma Prakashate, thus Brahman shines within and without. And how do we know that Brahman shines? The very fact that the mind is known, we know that we have a mind, indicates the pervasion of Sakshi Chaitanya. Same example of the wall and light you should remember. Whenever we say wall is known, it indicates the pervasion of light. Similarly, when we say the mind is known to me, my mind, I know my mind, it means the Sakshi Chaitanyam is pervading, and that is why the knowledge has happened. Right? And therefore, Brahma Prakashate Antaha Bahihi Cha. And he gives an example. Pratapta Ayasa Pindavat. Ayasa Pinda means a iron ball. Ayasa Pinda, iron ball. Prataptavat means a red hot iron ball. Suppose in a dark room, there is a red hot iron ball. Normally, we cannot see the ordinary dark iron ball. Because, you see the shot put and all that. Those who have been in school, colleges, we have this iron ball, the dark color. If you keep it in a dark room, you cannot see that iron. But if it is a red hot iron ball, we can see the iron in a dark room also. Okay. And if we are able to see the red hot iron ball, it is because of what? It is because of the pervasion of the heat in the iron. The heat principle, the fire principle pervades the iron ball, because of which the invisible iron ball becomes visible. Not only it becomes visible because of this Agni Vyapti, but if we touch the iron ball, this heat will burn us. So the existence of Dahaka Shakti also is there because of the pervasion of Agni. But do we see the Agni separately? We don't. When we see a red hot iron ball, we understand, cognitively understand that this red hot iron ball is pervaded by heat, fire principle. Right? Even though the Agni is there fully, it looks like as in the iron ball, the intrinsic nature of the iron ball is this fire, red hot, this thing. That this the light and heat belongs to Agni, not the iron ball. And the iron ball becomes visible only because of the Agni Tattva. This is the example he quotes. Similarly, it is because of this pure consciousness, this Brahma Tattva, that everything else in the world becomes known to us. That's the example he gives. So first the mind is known because of consciousness. And through the mind, the world is known because the consciousness alone goes through the sense organs and pervades this entire world. That is how the pervasion takes place. Okay. So when that happens, for us, everywhere Brahman is there. Okay. So now we will see the next sloka. Jagat vilakshanam brahma brahmanonyatra kinchana brahmanya bhat brahmanyat bhati chen mitya yata maru marichika. So in this sloka, Shankaracharya is now touching on a very important topic. That is, he wants to say that when we talk of Satyam and Mithya, there is a peculiar relationship between the Satyam and Mithya. And we have seen this relationship in the snake and rope example. It's a peculiar relationship. And what is this peculiar relationship? When we want to reveal the rope, we say the rope is different from the snake. That is, the snake is temporary and the rope is permanent. Snake is karyam, rope is karanam. All that we say. Rope is satyam, different from snake, which is mithya. Right? But when this rope has been revealed, we say the rope is different from the snake. No, we say the rope is not different from the snake. Right? It was the rope which appeared as a snake. That's what we say when the rope is revealed. Till the rope is revealed, we are saying it was snake, snake, snake. We didn't see the difference between the rope and snake. But once the rope is revealed, we see the difference. The snake did not have any independent existence. The existence of the snake was borrowed from the rope only. And that we come to know only when we know the rope. When we know that the object lying down the ground is a rope only. Then only we come to know that the snake was mithya and the rope is satyam. Till that time, we are taking the snake as satyam only. This is exactly the relationship between satyam and mithya and this Brahman and this entire world. Till Brahman is known to us as what is that Brahman, we will take this world which is like a snake as Satyam only. When we understand Brahman, we will understand that this entire world, which is like a snake, was all along a mithya only. It had no existence of its own. It had no independent existence. Its existence was borrowed from the existence of Brahman. This is the example he is giving, or this is what he wants to say, right? So the rope has got separate existence, like Brahman has got independent existence, which is Satya. The snake did not have a separate existence. The visualization of snake was on the rope. So because of the existence of the rope, we saw the snake. We visualized the snake. Similarly, because of this existence of Brahman only, we are visualizing this entire world. This is the peculiar relationship between Satyam and Mithya. Between two Mithya objects, this problem will not be there. We will know a TV is TV, a laptop is laptop. There is no confusion. But when it comes to Satyam and Mithya, this confusion arises. Till we know what is Satyam, we will always take Mithya as Satyam only. And that is the reason why we actually attribute Satyatvam to this entire Mithya world. Take it seriously. In the process, suffer all consequences of our misconception and ignorance. That is what samsara is all about. That is why Vedanta emphasizes, understand the difference between Satyam and Mithya. Atma, Anatma, Viveka is what Vedanta starts with in Tattva Bodha. Viveka, sadhana chatushte sampatti, first is Viveka. Then only Vairagya. That Viveka is necessary, and once you have the Viveka between Satyam and Mithya, go in search of that Satyam, understand that Satyam, own up that Satyam as your own self. All your problems of this world will be solved. Your life will become joyful. That's what Vedanta says. Okay. So, even when we talk of Karanam and Karyam, Karanam is Satyam, Karyam is Mithya. That's what we have to understand, right? Karyam is no different from Karanam, but Karanam is Karya Vilakshanam. It is independently existing. And we can apply this to clay and pot example, right? So many examples are there in the Shastra. We have seen a lot of them in the last 2 years. So that is why here he says, Jagat Vilakshanam Brahma. Brahman is different from the world. Whereas Brahmanaha Anyat Kinchana na Asti. Nothing exists in the world different from Brahman. Brahman is everything, nothing is there in Brahman. Very, very complicated statements Vedanta makes. We are not used to such thinking. We are not used to such analysis. But that is the reality. That is what Vedanta makes us think, makes us focus. Right? Even when the world is resolved from this manifest world, it becomes unmanifest. When it goes into the bija form, in the pranayam, Brahman continues to exist. Why? Because we say pranayam is. But isness is from where? From Brahman only. We can say pranayam is or avyakta is only because Brahman. Because Brahman is pure existence, the principle of existence. So Brahman continues in and through Pralayam also. It never. That's why it's Satyam. Trikale api tishtati. All three time zones. Past, present and future. Brahman is always there. So, I am seeing the world which is different from Brahman. And that's why he says, Brahma anyad bhati chet. If we experience something different from Brahman, it is Mithya. But Brahman can be experienced only through Mithya. It is because of the existence of this Mithya world that we know there is something called Brahman. Otherwise, we cannot experience Brahman. This is another aspect of the peculiar relationship. Isn't it? Some examples coming to my mind, but I don't want to go into that. So, the basic idea is other than the rope, there is no snake. But if we experience a snake, it is because of the existence of the rope, and the snake is a Mithya snake. This is what we have to understand. The relationship between Satyam and Mithya, the relationship between Brahman and Jagat, or Ishvara and Jagat. This is how we have to understand. An example, he says, Yatha Maru Marichika. So, in place of water in a desert, what is there? There is only dry land. Dry sand is there. And in that dry land, there is not even a drop of water. But when we see from a distance, we see like there is a big lake. And we go towards that lake. The nearer we go, the water goes on further away from us. What the visual of the water, our visualization of that water. There is no water actually. In a desert, there is no water, but we see water. Similarly, he is saying that the Satyam and Mithya. So what we see as water and take it as Satyam and go near it in a desert, nothing but Mithya, non-existent. Its existence depends upon the sand, the heat of the sand because of which it appeared like water. The sand is Satyam, the appearance of water is Mithya. This is the example he gives. Okay. So it is all Indrajalam, Maya Jalam types. Maru Marichika Iva Mithya. Then the 64th sloka we will read. Okay, 64. Yeah. Drishyate Shruyate Yadyad Brahmanonyanna Tad Bhavet Tattvajnanacha Tad Brahma Satchidanandamadbhayam. Finally, he has come to Satchidananda. So, in the 63rd sloka, which we saw just now, he said that anything experienced different from Brahman is Mithya, right? And he is clarifying that Mithyatvam in this sloka. Yadyad drishyate, whatever is seen. Yadyad shruyate, whatever is heard. He has referred to Yadyad drishyate, Yadyad shruyate, right? Drishyate, shruyate, Yadyad. That's all. We have to take all the other three also. Whatever is touched, whatever is smelled, whatever is tasted. Okay, other three. So all five means what? Whatever we experience through these five sense organs, all of them, tat brahmanaha anyat na bhavet, does not exist separate from Brahman. Why? Because existence in each one of them belongs to Brahman alone. But why can't we say that they have their own existence? Some question, no? Purva Paksh will come. How do you say, on what basis you are saying existence is from Brahman? Why can't they have their own existence? Why can't I say that the pot has got its own existence? What we say, if the pot has got its own existence, Swatasatta, then we have to go back to Gita verse. What is that? Na sato vidyate bhavah, na abhavo vidyate satah. If the pot has got its own existence, it will never lose its existence. Pot will remain pot eternally. The fact that the pot appears and disappears itself shows that it is not existent. It does not have an existence of its own. That is the logic we have to apply. So, therefore, Brahmanaha anyat na kinchit asti na bhavet, right? Anyat na bhavet. But then the Purva Purush says, but I see everything, I don't see Brahman at all. I see all the objects and I see them as different from Brahman. So the Acharya says, yeah, you are seeing it because of your ajnanam, your ignorance. Yatra ajnanam tatra ghata drishti bhavati. Yatra jnanam tatra mrid drishti. Yatra ajnanam tatra jagat drishti. Yatra jnanam tatra brahma drishti. So, if you say that you are seeing everything different from Brahman, you are quite right. That is your ignorance. Because you don't know there is something called Brahman which is behind all these things. Which is what is even making you see that. You don't know that. So, you are ajnani samsari. Fine, you continue. If at all you want to know the truth, come to Vedanta. That's what it says. Tattva jnanat. So, once the Tattva jnanam comes, what happens? Tattva jnana tat brahma. Tat means that what was taken earlier as jagat in the form of the world, what was taken earlier in the form of the world, once you get the tattva jnanam, the knowledge of the absolute reality, you will understand that this world is actually Brahman. There was no world, it was always Brahman only. This world was only an appearance. Yat purvam sarpaha asit tadeva vastuhu idhanim rajjuhu. This is what you will understand. Okay. Then one should not ask, did the world change into Brahman? And for that, the counter question is, did the rope change into snake? The rope always remained the rope only. It never changed its form into a snake. Because of your ignorance, because of the darkness of ignorance which was pervading in your mind, you took that as a snake. There was no snake. It was always a rope only. So it is not that Brahman changed into this world. Brahman was always there. You, because of your ignorance, you didn't see that Brahman, you didn't know that Brahman. You didn't understand that it was Brahman alone. And you took this entire world as Satyam, as you took the snake as Satyam, and got frightened and then started running away and started looking for a stick to beat the snake. All along it was a rope. So similarly, he says, this entire world, this prapancha, is only Brahma Maya. It is all, only Brahman is there. All the other things are just like superimposition of the snake on the rope. We are superimposing all these objects of this world on Brahman. When we understand that Brahman, this mithyatvam of this world will automatically be understood. Once you understand Satyam, Mithya is automatically understood. So, like that change there in the case of Sarpa and Raju, that was not an external change, right? It was a cognitive change in our mind. When the light was shown on the rope and we saw the rope actually, where we were earlier seeing the snake, in the place of snake we actually saw the rope when enough light of knowledge was shown. we became aware that it was a rope, there was no change. Snake did not become suddenly a rope because of the light, but there was a cognitive change in our mind. We understood there was never ever a snake, there was always a rope. So it was a Brahma. The Sarpa Buddhi was a Brahma Buddhi. And that Brahma Buddhi was replaced by what? Prama Buddhi, knowledge. Similarly, this Jagat Buddhi that we have got now, when it gets replaced by Brahma Buddhi, we will know what is Satyam and what is Mithya. The effect of this Bhranti of the world being Satyam will be gone. And what is the nature of that Brahman? He says Satchidanandam Advayam. That which is non-dual, pure existence, pure consciousness, and pure ananda, pure happiness. The nature of that Brahman is this. Sat Chit Anandam Advayam. That is the nature of this. Once we understand that Brahman is Sat Chit Ananda and Advayam, this Jagat Buddhi, which is a Brahma Buddhi, will be gone, and we will be getting, or we will acquire that Brahma Buddhi, and we will abide in that Brahma Buddhi. And once you do that, all your sufferings, your miseries will be gone. Why? Because all these sufferings are caused by taking this world as Satya. If somebody passes away, if we understand that it's only the body which has gone, one part of that person which is gone, which in any case would have gone, which in any case, if it had lived long enough, it would have decayed. It would have caused so much of misery to that person and also other people. That body is now gone. Otherwise, the person in the form of Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira is still surviving. I may not be able to know it, but as long as I know that it is surviving, I have no problem. It doesn't give me dukkha. It is not necessary that I should see the body day in and day out to know that the person is there. Isn't it? So many relatives of us are there in so many countries. We don't see them every day, but we are always satisfied and happy on the thought that they are all there, in the knowledge that they are all there, they are all very well, they are all doing very well. What is important is the knowledge of existence rather than physical existence. And it, because we are giving this reality to this physical existence, is all our problems. So once you have this Brahma Buddhi and you remove this Bhranti of the Jagat Buddhi, then Ananda only, Anandam Eva Ananda. That's all. Okay. So we have covered 4 slokas today. Let us hope we will cover the rest 4 slokas in the next class, and then we will complete Atma Bodha successfully. Thank you. I'll say the prayers, and if any questions, we can discuss. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all. Any questions? இல்லையா ஒன்றும் கிளாஸ் க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிடலாமா? அதுக்கும் பதில் வர மாட்டேங்குது. Or you're thinking what question to ask. இல்ல எல்லாம் அதாவது மியூட் பண்ணிட்டேன்னு பயந்துருக்கலாம். எல்லாம் அன்மியூட் பண்ணிக்கலாம், பரவாயில்ல. ஓகே, ஒண்ணுக்குமே ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் வருதில்ல. சரி, I will take it that there are no questions, and then you are all eagerly waiting for the next class, which is the last class. Okay, Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you. Thank you.